Welcome to episode 61 of the Trainer Scoop podcast. We are joined once again by Coach Rory Hougan, who is about to house a burger. We're timing him right now. Back with Coach Rory for part two. I feel like at the end of part one, we got a good history, some backstory on Rory. The part two, we were getting some really good stuff that I enjoyed as I was listening over. Some really good practical takeaways, some really good tips for athletes. And the dude is just a wealth of knowledge. So we called it back then, and we're following through, even though it's a month later now, with the part two for everybody. We've got a couple questions and a couple other points that we want to discuss, really kind of getting into the nitty gritty, delving deep into his knowledge banks. And look, it's 44 seconds and he's done. That was solid work. What kind of burger was that?
Steak and Shake double steak burger.
Nice. That sounds delicious. I haven't had Steak and Shake in a minute, man. Is it close to the gym?
Yeah, it's like right down the block. There's a new meal prep company actually. Steak and Shake.
Yeah, guys, hit up Steak and Shake for your macro-friendly options. They have some great low-fat, low-carb, oven-baked options. For those of you that are listening on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, Roy's just eating some onion rings right now. But how you been, bro? What's new? It's been about a month.
I've been. Things have been interesting, to say the least. But we're keeping it real up in here, and it's a good day to have a good day. It's a good day to have a good day. How about you?
Dude, busy. I had a good influx of clients for the new year. Everyone's been rocking it. That's kind of taking time away from the content creation, but it's all part of kind of adapting to that workload and then getting back to it. So it's been good to have some new people on the roster, man. I'm liking it.
Yeah, absolutely.
How's all the athletes doing?
Well, the my one track kid on AAU is actually he went from unranked to 36th in the country. Last meet he did. It's great. He also beat our main competitors, every single one of our main competitors' athletes.
That's a cool feeling.
Which is great. And then that guy tried to steal him from me, which is also awesome.
Speaks to the quality of your work.
Legit, right? Yeah, I'm gonna take this guy, tell everyone else I made him fast. That's how it's done. Yeah.
There's
you ever hear a click in the background? There's a Spectrum next door. So I'm at the facility right now. This is the break room, as you can tell by the TV that's not plugged in. And
on brand.
There's a Spectrum next door, right? And our company's colors are red. So there's a big red D1 on the door, and Spectrum is very blue. And people will consistently try to open the door here, thinking it's Spectrum, because they don't know how to read, apparently. That was, I always think Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader was a really dumb show until you see people out and about and you're like, it's a different, even words aside, it's a completely different color.
I don't know how you missed that bad.
That's like a 3-year-old can figure that out. But
you're just in the middle of a session.
That would be enough for the rest of us, right? Yeah.
You're just in the middle of a session, actually, it's that one. See ya.
No, that happens all the time, every single day. There was actually an old lady that with wispy hair, oh, hello, Sean, right? You're like, oh, I got a call from you saying I could pick up my router. And I'm like, this is actually a gym, ma'am. She goes, I thought this place looked kind of strange.
Oh. Okay. God, you gotta love him.
She was super sweet, but I'm like, there's a turf in here. We got we got the motivational weight room wall words.
Yeah.
Right. You see right here. perseverance.
You're like, damn, this Spectrum has great vibes.
Yeah. We're gonna get you your fiber optic internet no matter what.
I wish, bro. I need some fiber out here. Been trying to get back on this Fortnite grind. I'm getting fucking roasted by kids with fiber. Or maybe I just suck. I don't know.
It is really funny though. Like our Wi-Fi here is trash. I don't know if you can tell by the video quality you're getting from me right now. Not too bad. Great. Awesome. Shout out to Apple for making cool things. I hate everything about Apple products, but for some reason the cameras are always good. Camera and Apple numbers, phenomenal spreadsheet program. But we're right next to a Spectrum and our internet is absolutely awful. I think it's kind of like a game they're playing because we don't go through them.
Oh yeah.
Like gone to the back of the building and like done something with the wires or something.
Right. They're just fucking with you.
Exactly.
Dude, I want to hear you can tell the people a little bit about your little injury setback that you encountered and how that's coming.
Right. So I don't know if you could tell, but I'm a little OCD, right? When it comes to, making sure things are, balanced and, straight. Unless it comes to my room, and which the laundry is everywhere, man. But in 2017, I tore my left pec in a powerlifting meet, and it was technically an avulsion fracture. So an avulsion fracture is when the bone underneath the tendon attachment breaks off the bone, right? So I didn't tear the tendon. The tendon, like the bone attachment, broke off the humerus here, right? So I had that repair, and that was a big old thing. And because I'm a little OCD, the day after Christmas, I decided to tear my right pec. Make sure it was balanced,
right?
And that felt really good. But it was really getting on my nerves that the right one wasn't torn, because I had one and I can't make this one not torn, so I had to fix it, right? And I was like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna pick up the heaviest dumbbell in the gym and try to bench it, and that's exactly what I did. And for those of you watching or listening, that's called a bad joke. I did not intend to tear my pec. I actually just picked up the MRI for that and the report, and it's like a partial thickness, like grade 2 tear, and like there's nothing wrong with the tendon or anything or the ligament. So I'm more than likely not going to need surgery, but I'm going to find out on Monday. But I'm going to be like a total Chad and rehab that with bench press is what I'm going to do.
Has it pretty much like tanked your upper body training? Are you able to work around it to some capacity?
So I took three weeks off training because immediately when it happened, I spiraled into this deep existential depression. It hurt really bad. It was like going down I couldn't lift my arm up. It was really painful. Mm-hmm. And the other one, when I did the other one, did not hurt. And the reason the other one did not hurt is because when I was squatting in that meet, I pulled my quad. So I was like, I'm not a little pussy. I'm gonna finish this meet. So I took 10 Advil. Going into bench press, I took 10 Advil and I slathered myself up with icy hot for horses that you can get at Tractor Supply. It's called Thermoflex. Highly recommend. God. Great product, but also highly recommend applying.
Everybody's eyes were just fucking watering in that
gloves, because the first time I used it, I washed my hands like 3 times, and then I went to take a leak, and it was not fun. It was not. No permanent damage was made. Right. It was just not. It's kind of like, when you go for a hike, right? And, you get poison ivy, and like you don't want to touch. You don't want to go to the bathroom after going on a hike without washing your hands if you've touched plants, because like if you're not good at identifying plants and you touch poison oak or poison ivy, then you got poison oak butthole, and that is not fun. Personally, never had that happen to me because I am excellent at identifying plants. I'm an Eagle Scout. Thank you very much. Ladies, don't hit me up for not advice. But, it was a similar thing, right?
Yeah.
Because like, I don't know if you ever put on Gold Bond like too soon after the shower
Oh
and it
yeah.
like burned.
Yeah.
It was like that times 10
Oh.
because it's for horses. Yeah.
And so then
Yeah,
you
dude.
proceeded to go tear your pec. Was that the same meet?
Right. That was the same meet, and yeah.
It's just a
But the
terrible
quad
day.
thing, it taught me a lot,
Right.
right? And that, guys like me, right? They're called idiots. Usually have to learn the hard way, and we learn,
Oh yeah.
or you don't, and you just keep doing dumb shit. Um, you know, and like over the years, the dumb shit has slowly decreased. But
Okay, but real talk. Why is it always
yeah,
the dudes that are like in that position, right? They just do some fucking crazy shit. They're always the strongest, like motherfuckers out there. Always the ones that you see setting records. Always the ones that are just like maybe they don't even compete. They're just fucking strong naturally. Do you think that's just something with a mindset, or what is it?
you could say it's a mindset thing. So people who train very hard, right? Like that,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like a lot. People that train very hard enjoy training very hard. And the best analogy, that I could think of is if you get in a stock car and you floor the gas and you never stop, what's going to happen to the car?
Someone's gonna get fucked up.
You're going to go really, really fast, right? You're going to be driving fast as shit, right? But, you know, eventually something's going to fall off. So, I'm not by any means the strongest guy. The history of my injuries has been poor sleep. Um, to be completely honest, aside from concussions and, bar fights when I was bouncing, gym injuries, lack of sleep, 100%. And the meet I tore my pec and strained my quad. I forgot I signed up for that meet, so I didn't peak for it because I didn't train specifically for this meet.
Yeah.
My one buddy, oh, you should do it. Just do it as like a testing day, and I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. Um, but because I didn't train for it, I was super nervous. I slept for 2 hours, and then I had to drive up to Akron from
Damn.
Columbus.
Did you bounce the night
Right.
before?
Let's go max out on squat, bench, and deadlift after 2 hours of sleep. Who
Did you
does
bounce
that?
the night before?
No,
Okay,
no.
good. That would have been the perfect shitstorm.
I would have driven right from there. I'd have driven right
Yeah.
from there. Um, yeah, but like when you're consistently always only training hard and trying to be maximally strong and maximally jacked all the time and just do these ridiculous, feats of strength, for clout, right? Or just to see if you could do them. It doesn't even have to be for clout. Like, I mean, I tore my pec with 150-pound dumbbells. I wanted to see if I could do them because my buddy and I were warming up with 125s and they were flying. Like, I could have done 20 reps. And my buddy was like, I could have done like 15 to 20. You want to go up? And I'm like, yeah, let's go up. So we went up to 150, and that was a mistake.
It's a big jump.
And I knew as soon as I laid down, I was like, this is not a good idea. But I'm with my friend. He's an outlaw super trucker, hauls frac sand. Used to be a power lifter, shaved head, goatee. He's like 5'6", Dominican guy with like no neck because his traps are so big. And then you got all the high school kids on winter break. They're like, holy shit, they're benching the 150s. Couldn't sit back up. I would rather die. And you know what? I did. little piece of me in here, actually on this side, but when you're consistently just full send, right, eventually something's going to fall off, and that's consistently been a struggle for me, because a lot of the reason that I train is for my mental health.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not ever going to be, nor do I have the desire to be the strongest person or the most jacked person, but I enjoy training, and I enjoy how I feel, mentally and physically when I'm training, and I enjoy training hard. So the hardest part for me is figuring out reps in reserve.
Yeah.
So it's very, very difficult for me to figure out reps in reserve. I know what zero is. I know what zero reps in
what
reserve is.
-4 is probably.
Yeah, and I know the difference between RPE 10 and zero RIR. A lot of people don't necessarily understand. I can do a set for RPE 10, and I could have had maybe 2 RIR, 1 or 2 RIR, but there's a difference. I don't necessarily like RPE because a lot of people don't know what exertion really is.
Yeah.
And there's a difference between failure. There's a difference between failure and zero RIR. I don't really ever train to failure, but I'll train to zero RIR for sure, because I'm lazy in trying to figure out this RPE thing, and I don't like taking deloads.
Mm-hmm.
And
right, dude, I think that was really good though, like the injury thing and kind of like detaching that emotional element. And I mean, I really like what you said about having that nuanced program laid out. Like, I think that's really good takeaways for people.
Yeah, so like the thing when you're injured, you can't train the way you want to. The biggest thing is to realize, just because you can't do what you want to doesn't mean you can't do what you can. Right.
Yeah.
And if you're recovering from an injury, it might not be the best time to try to get maximally jacked. Right. Just like go and maintain. Right. Nobody says that you have to be like foot through the floor, pedal to the metal all the time, even when you're hurt. There's no law that says you're a little bitch because you tore your bicep and now you're just training legs so your legs don't shrink. No one says that. No, people are usually like, oh wow, yeah, he's hurt, he's still in the gym, good for him.
Mm-hmm.
Like nobody cares. And just working on coming up with a training plan. Like, how can I do my training plan better next time? Like, even just sitting down and working on that helps.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to take a moment to process. Yep, I'm hurt. But once you're hurt, bitching about it's not gonna make it better. How can you move forward and figure that out? That's usually the best course of action. Cut. What's up, everybody? This is Coach Rory on Trainer Scoop Podcast with
David Martin, D-Mart Training.
D-Mart Training, baby. We are doing a Q&A on this second half of this podcast, which is going to come out sometime in the next 5 decades. So make sure you shoot us your questions this week. That way we can have several years to research them, and we'll be sure to get those answers before you retire from training, right?
We only have to write our PR.
Yeah, if we have to research, we're getting that lab set up, when we hit it big, right? After this podcast takes off, right?
Get our grants written, dissertations wrote.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're basically Champaign County's Joe Rogan, and we got all this money, and we'll be able to research all sometime in the mid 2030s.
Yes.
So be sure to send us your questions, and we'll see. If they're good, you can ask us anything. Ask us about ourselves. Ask us about training. Ask us about nutrition. We'll give you some insight, some personal experience, and crack a few jokes along the way. And maybe we'll learn something about you through your questions. Maybe ask Ask D Mart, if he had to suck one toe, which toe would it be? And if you ask that question, we know you're probably closeted, in defeat. So we'll learn from you and you'll learn from us. We're doing a Q&A on this for episode number 62. It's a shame it's not 69, but you
Right,
can't
we'll
win
get
them.
there. And this was brought to you by Athletic Greens, the all-in-one green supplement, carrying your vitamins, minerals, micronutrients in one convenient, mixable, garbage-tasting package.
Yeah, it actually has a very mild tropical taste that I actually look forward to in the morning.
Yeah. Have you actually taken it?
No, that's what Joe Rogan said.
I don't really listen to Joe like that, but I've seen the fucking ads again and again.
Yeah.
That's funny as hell. All right, man. That was good.
AG1, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, dude, that was good. That's a
That's
good
the open right there.